Hello, good evening and welcome to Breaking Views on NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. Ladies and gentlemen, the Parliament 8 days have been completely, if I call it a waste, it won't be something that I would in fact be using an adjective which is not supposed to be used here because it's been complete washout. And more as the fire on Manipur continues, there are other issues as well which are creating this face-off between the government and the opposition. One of them, of course, the Delhi Ordinance. That's what we'll be talking about today. The Delhi Services Bill, officially known as the Government of National Capital Territory of Delhi Amendment Bill 2023, is in all likelihood will be tabled in the Parliament tomorrow. The ordinance has been a major flashpoint between Arvind Kejriwal's Aam Aadmi Party and the centre. The Aam Aadmi Party has been opposing this tooth and nail. From party chief Arvind Kejriwal, who has gone across the country canvassing support against the bill, to party MPs vociferously making their position clear in the Parliament. The party MPs say this bill is against federalism and also should not be tabled as the matter is sub judice before the constitutional bench of the Supreme Court. And now, the party also adds the legislative business should be put on hold as the opposition parties have moved a no-confidence motion against the Modi government, which is yet to be debated. The BJP, meanwhile, calls this the fear of the Aam Aadmi Party, the fear of their defeat in both Lok Sabha, where the government has a brute majority, but also in Rajya Sabha, where the task is cut out on this very issue, as far as the opposition's unity is concerned. Now, viewers, remember the bill was brought in to replace an existing ordinance that overrides a Supreme Court order that gave the Delhi government control over most services, transfer, posting, etc., of bureaucrats. The bill has undergone now, sources are telling us, significant changes as well. From ordinance to bill, there has been certain changes which have now been introduced. 3 provisions that were part of the ordinance have been dropped from the bill. Let me very quickly take you through those amendments which have been made as far as this bill is concerned. Removal of Section 3A. The bill removes provision in the ordinance that previously prevented the Delhi Assembly from making laws concerning the State Public Services and State Public Service Commission. It also has removed the annual report which previously the NCCSA had to submit an annual report of activities to both the Parliament and the Delhi Assembly. The bill eliminates that obligation. It has also, what changes have been made to the appointment process. The bill dilutes provision under Section 45D, which deals with appointing chairpersons and members of various authorities, boards, commissions and statutory bodies in Delhi. Remember, there was a huge tussle between the Lieutenant Governor and the Chief Minister over the DERC, the electricity body chief. Supreme Court had to intervene. Now, the bill also, in fact, from ordinance to bill, has removed the Delhi LG's powers of appointment. The bill has introduces a new provision stating that the Lieutenant Governor will now make appointment to boards and commissions formed by the Delhi government based on a list of names recommended by the NCCSA. The list will also have the Chief Minister as a part of the body. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the introduction of the bill is expected to cause major protest as far as the opposition alliance, India, which is supporting the government which is supporting the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned. Crucial factor would be the 3 political parties, YSR, CP, TDP and BJD. Whether the Aam Aadmi Party is able to deflect this bill, stand firm in Rajya Sabha, will all depend on these 3 political parties. So the big question that we are debating, few questions that we'll be debating through the course of this evening, ladies and gentlemen, in this big face-off. Should the omissions in the bill be seen as concession by the centre? Should the bill be introduced while it is sub judice? An argument that the Aam Aadmi Party has continuously made. Should the centre table the bill in the face of opposition's no-confidence motion because the debate is yet to take place? And will this bill be the litmus test for the opposition unity ahead of 2024? So ahead of the big face-off which is expected in the Parliament tomorrow, let me bring in our two distinguished guests to debate, in fact, these very aspects on the broadcast. I'm being joined by Mr. Prakash Javadekar, Rajya Sabha MP, former Union Minister, and also Mr. Raghav Chadha, Rajya Sabha MP of the Aadmi Party, who is also joining us. He's been the face as far as this, entire the opposition is concerned of the Aadmi Party, representing this not only in the Parliament but also, articulating this on television channels. I want to start by asking you, Raghav, because your party and you specifically had come out and you had said that there are three reasons why the bill should not be introduced. The government has made it clear that it wants to bring this in this very session of the Parliament. Why does the Aadmi Party now think that this ordinance should not be converted into the bill and that should be presented in the Parliament, Raghav?
Look, Ankit, this bill should not be introduced because the introduction of this bill is legally impermissible because of three reasons. And now I'll add a fourth reason also. Three reasons are as follows. Point number one, you cannot change a Supreme Court's judgment without changing the basis of the judgment. Merely because you have brought in an ordinance doesn't mean that the Supreme Court's judgment can be overturned. To overturn it, you have to change the basis, but the government hasn't changed the basis. Number one. Number two, you can only make laws to give effect to the articles of the Constitution. You cannot bring in laws that substantively change the sense of the articles of the Constitution, which the government is attempting to do through this legislation. Point number three, the matter is sub judice. The matter is pending before court. Why can't the government wait for the outcome of the Supreme Court's Constitution Constitution bench to decide the constitutional validity of this ordinance or the bill? And point four, and most importantly now, that once you have a no confidence motion admitted by the Lok Sabha Speaker, no business is permitted to be transacted after the admission of this no confidence motion until the no confidence motion is set aside and disposed of. Okay. And that has been the parliamentary precedent all throughout. Because of these four reasons, the introduction of this Delhi bill is impermissible. Matter is sub judice. You are changing the Supreme Court judgment without changing the basis, and you are not bringing in law to give effect to articles of Constitution.
Right. Raghav, if I may then ask you a corresponding question. All these reasons, like the matter is sub judice, you wanted a stay in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court refused to give you a stay as far as this ordinance is concerned. The Supreme Court did not even make it or mention anywhere that the legislative business as far as the Parliament is concerned should not go on if the government wishes it to do so. Why then do you think the government should take that into consideration? It's the Supreme Court did not give you even a stay as far as this ordinance is concerned.
Look, first of all, the Supreme Court in its wisdom admitted our petition. The Supreme Court in its wisdom decided that the import of this ordinance involves serious issues of constitutional validity, and therefore it is only a constitution bench that can decide upon the legality or the illegality or the constitutionality or the unconstitutionality of this piece of paper, and not a regular bench. For that, they have set up a constitution bench. We will go plead this matter after the constitution bench commences its hearing. This doesn't mean that an interim relief has not been granted. It only means that they have set up another bench to look into this matter, because this matter is of constitutional import. So it would be improper for us to, arrive at a conclusion that Supreme Court has not given us interim relief. Number one. Number two, in two successive rounds, the Constitution bench judgments of the Supreme Court in 2018 and in 2023 has held that all powers pertaining to services, transfer posting of officers, allocation of work to officers, disciplinary proceedings against officers, all this is the exclusive domain of the Chief Minister. So we have won two successive rounds in the Supreme Court, 2018 and 2023. We are ready for another round. And both of us, you and I and the people of Delhi and the people of this country know what will be the outcome of the third round also. We will win the third round. It is only that the BJP wishes to kill time using this. They will bring notification, then they'll bring a bill, then they'll bring an ordinance. This is what they have been doing since 2015 and buying time that the elected government's tenure, the 5-year tenure elapses while this litigation stands pending in the court. That is the short and sweet point that the BJP wishes to make by using these instruments.
But Raghav, let me ask you this. You said that the Supreme Court in its wisdom has admitted it. The fact remains that at this moment, as I repeated it earlier as well, there is nothing bars. There is no rule that bars the government from not presenting it. By calling all these measures, the BJP says the Aam Aadmi Party more or less has conceded defeat. They know when it's tabled both in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha, of course, because the BJP has a brute majority. And in Rajya Sabha, you're trying to cobble up support in favor of your cause. You will lose. And that's the fear which is making you go ahead and make these excuses.
Look, numbers. What will be the numbers in the Lok Sabha, what will be the numbers in the Rajya Sabha is a discussion worth happening when the bill is presented. Who votes in favor and who votes against the bill, we will know once the bill is presented and when political parties issue whip in accordance with their core beliefs. However, simply because the bill is unconstitutional and there is a per se restriction on the admission of this bill in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, I make this point that the very introduction of this bill is impermissible. However, if the BJP still wishes to introduce this bill, wishes to debate this bill, wishes to put this bill through a vote, in the Rajya Sabha, the numbers are not with the BJP, numbers are stacked up against the BJP, unless, of course, there are political parties that switch sides. Let me say this in no uncertain terms that what happens when the numbers, when the number gain happens in the Rajya Sabha, when the bill is put to vote is something we will know once the voting happens. I, for one, would not want to second guess the outcome of that. All I can say that this is a fight between people who believe in India's constitution and India's democracy versus people who do not give two hoots about India's democracy and India's constitution. I hope that India's constitution wins and India's democracy is protected.
I have one last question before I let you go, Mr. Chadha. You said that it is for people, those who believe in the Indian democracy, the constitution, the whole concept of federalism. Then why is it that Mr. Kejriwal, who went all across the country, did not feel fit to go across and meet Mr. Naveen Patnaik or Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy of Andhra Pradesh to try and also convince them to vote for your cause? Have you already thought that these are the people, those who are going to vote for the BJP? Is that the reason why?
Look, first of all, who we have met, how we have met, what conversations happened, what will be the outcome of this is something which will be known once the bill is presented. However, I, through you, Ankit, and through this widely watched news channel, appeal to not just BJD or YSR. I appeal to every member of the BJP that this is a dharm yudh. Dharm is with us, adharm is with BJP. In this dharm yudh, support us. Dharm should win and adharm should lose. I recall a very famous incident in Mahabharat. Before the Mahabharat began, the famous war began, in the middle of Kurukshetra, Yudhishthir, the eldest of the Pandavas, made a passionate appeal.
Right.
And he said that this is a dharm yudh. I have dharm on my side. Those who believe that dharm is with me, please come and fight for me. And in case any member who is with the Kauravas, any warrior in the Kaurav Sena feels that I have dharm with me, you can cross over from the Kauravas and come to the Pandavas and I will welcome you with open arms. Even then, one brother of Duryodhan, 1 out of 100 brothers of the Kauravas walked over, he crossed over from the Kauravas and fought the war for the Pandavas. And therefore, I remind this incident, I remind this to the BJP that even in that dharm yudh, there was one person who crossed over. So I, in that vein, request members of the BJP to cross over and vote for us.
All right, Raghav Chadha, you've made a passionate appeal. We'll see what happens in the Parliament tomorrow when the bill is introduced. Thank you so mumuch for joining us. Mr. Javadekar, thank you, sir, for speaking to NDTV. I want to start by asking you, the Aam Aadmi Party is calling this entire ordinance, the bill that the government wants to introduce as far as Delhi is concerned, it is calling it unethical. It is also calling it, it is sub judice. And at this moment, it should not be introduced.
This is absolutely rubbish for two reasons. One, Aam Aadmi Party calling dharma adharma is the 21st century's biggest joke, because they have understood that what they spoke, what they promised to the people and what they have done is entirely different. So what they have practiced is adharma, not dharma. So nobody will switch over to adharma. That is one. Second, more important, the fact is he gave three reasons. I heard him. He gave three reasons that it is sub judice. Show me an article or rule in the Constitution, article which prohibits you from commenting or legislating on the issues which are sub judice. There is nothing. Second, legislation is the power of Parliament. Courts cannot legislate. Court can interpret the legislation. So, all our laws are judicial. It is open for judicial scrutiny.
Okay.
And that's a process. But to say that you cannot pass because 5 judges have given one, and they are taking help of Congress, which has done exactly cancelling the judgment. They have changed the judgment through ordinance and then legislation.
Okay.
At least not only in Shah Bano case, but on many occasions, dozens of occasions. So this is a very invalid argument, nothing. Okay. You talk about the merits. Merit is national capital is a national capital. Every country has only one city as a national capital.
Okay.
There are no 10 capitals. And therefore, the security, law and order and bureaucracy and because here is a chief minister who says that I will stop 26 January parade. If that is the stand, and he said I am anarchist, so can we give Delhi's bureaucracy? And chief secretary was beaten up. He has complained.
But Mr. Javadekar, the effect with this ordinance and this legislation isn't the central government completely making the Delhi government toothless. What's the point of having a government in Delhi if the officers do not even respond to the ministers?
See, it is only the central services which are governed by the Home Ministry in all the because it is Agmut cadre, it is Delhi is also Danish cadre, so it is 2-3 provinces put together is a common service. So their appointment, their transfers is the subject matter of center. It is not switching off or taking away any power.
Okay.
It was not the power of Delhi government. It is not the power of Delhi government because Delhi has a special place.
But sir, that's what the court decided earlier, after which this ordinance was brought in.
Court also can be wrong, no. Court had changed many times their own decision. So court is also subject to scrutiny. Ultimately, time will give it. And legislation is the Parliament's prerogative. And therefore, Parliament, if it comes tomorrow or day after, whenever it is coming, after passing in Lok Sabha, whenever it comes, it will get passed in Parliament, and there is no ban. Court has not banned to.
That's right. I did put that out to Raghav Chadha as well. But I want to understand, sir, this from you. is the government putting itself in unnecessary risky position? What if the constitutional bench also rules in favor of the government of Delhi? Wouldn't that be the government, in fact, opening itself to scrutiny and also, criticism on the part of the government by bringing this bill? Should the government not wait?
No, I don't think so. It is our legislative power capacity. Our name is legislature. We are here to legislate. And therefore, what we are saying is that this is, you can raise points that it is illegal or untimely or immoral or whatever you want to say. That is democracy. But after that, majority will be tested. And I am very sure that the bill will pass because everybody understands that what is applicable to other cities can't be applicable. And therefore, Delhi was not given in a way full statehood. It is with that caveat. And therefore, here law and order. Other states' law and order is with those states.
Mr. Javadekar,
but here,
how confident is the government?
One minute. It is here with the Home Ministry. Right. So Delhi is a different category. It will be ruled under different rules and laws. And therefore, this clarification in a way is necessary, and that I am very sure that it will.
Mr. Javadekar, how confident is the government of getting its numbers right, its combination right, as far as Rajya Sabha is concerned? That's where the opposition parties, the India Alliance, thinks that they have a chance as far as defeating this bill is concerned, sir.
See, India, many parties have completely. The Congress forfeited the very freedoms and basic rights of Constitution given by Dr. Ambedkar in 1975, which people overthrew and brought it back. One. Second, they have done many times negating the Supreme Court judgments, even in case of Indira Gandhi and the election. What High Court gave the decision, they reversed. So they are in habit of reversing things, and that we will tomorrow give all the account of what they did. And now they are one. They fought against each other, but now they are one because we have started action against family rule and we have taken action against corruption.
In the end, Mr. Javadekar, don't you think that the government should first debate the no confidence motion before it goes across with other legislative business as far as the parliament is concerned?
Process. No, this is also wrong. No confidence motion is to be discussed in 10 days. And that 10 days period will definitely be observed. So there is no issue. And as everybody knows, those who have moved no confidence motion also know that they are going to lose because majority is with NDA and with Narendra Modi, and next time it will be more large than what it is today.
Mr. Javadekar, always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us here on NDTV and presenting the government and the BJP's point of view as far as the Delhi Services Bill is concerned. It is going to be as acrimonious as you can expect. The Parliament, both the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, already in spate of cancellations, adjournments. Expect that when this bill is also brought in the Parliament tomorrow. The Home Minister is expected to bring this. The Aadmi party and the opposition will oppose this. We'll get you the latest on this bill on NDTV. Thank you so much for joining in on Breaking Views this evening. That's all the time that we have on the broadcast.